Hello, hello, let's go. All right, all right. Well, if you are not subscribed, please do so. And also give me a thumbs up. And feel free to download this free PDF that's in the description. It is in English and Spanish. All right, let's make sure we clock it and lock it, people. Clock it and lock it. Let's go. Put all those devices away and let's get focused. All right, we're going to write linear equations from two ordered pairs. Practice numero uno. So here's number one. Use the given points to find the following. All right, so there's the given points. Let's remind ourselves that ordered pairs come x comma y. So these are my x values, and these are my y values. So ordered pairs always come alphabetical. All right, so those are my x's, and those are my y's. When I use this formula given two ordered pairs, I want to differentiate between the x's and the y's. So this is my formula. Okay, so what we do is we use these subscripts. Subscripts are a way to distinguish between two x values, right? That's x and that's x. But I want to refer to them as different names. And it doesn't matter which one I call x1 or x2. I could do this x1, x2. I could do this x1, x2. So it's okay. I'm going to go like this just to go in order. So x1 and x2. Now what's important is within the same ordered pair, they have the same subscript. So that means this is y1 and this is y2. Okay, let's apply the formula. It's pretty straightforward. I'm going to start with my y2, that's 5. And I'm going to subtract y1. That's it. That's all we're going to do. And then I'm going to start with my x2. And I'm going to subtract. This is where most of us go wrong. It's when we subtract that negative value. So that looks like that, right? The subtraction comes from here, and the negative comes from there. Now simplify the top and the bottom separately. 5 minus 2 is 3. 6 minus a minus 3. Remember, minus minus makes a plus, so that's 9. This fraction reduces to 1/3. So make sure you reduce all of your fractions, right? And keep them in fraction form. Slopes should be fraction form. Okay, that's the answer for A. So M is 1/3. All right, find the y-intercept. Okay, so the y-intercept always has an x value of 0, so we know that's true. So the ordered pair is going to be 0, comma, and then whatever we find to be the y-intercept. All right, let's do it. To find the y-intercept, I go to y equals mx plus b. And what I do is I substitute in all the things I know. So for example, I know that m is equal to 1/3. I know some other things. For example, I know that at some point on the line, x and y equal those values, and I also know that some point on the line, x and y equals those values. So it doesn't matter which ordered pair you use, you just pick one of the two ordered pairs for your x and your y. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to substitute in. So y, but my y comes out and becomes a 2. Now I put my m. Because I'm going to multiply m times x, I'm going to use parentheses. And then this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for b. b is the y-intercept. Okay, so I have to do simplifying. 1/3 times -3. Multiply by the top, divide by the bottom, you get -1. Now that's a very simple equation to solve. Now we're going to do inverse operations. I want to get the b by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite of -1. That's +1. Let's not forget all these wonderful skills we've worked so hard to learn. That is my b. So that becomes an ordered pair 0, 3. Well, now we have everything we need. Once we find the m and the b, we can write our equation y equals mx plus b. Because you're always looking for these things called parameters. They're the number parts of equations that dictate the movement. All right? So the m is 1/3 and the b is 3. So I write y equals 1/3 times x plus 3. That's it. That's done. All right, now what do I know? I know that parallel lines they never intersect and they have the same steepness. So if I look at the slope of that line, parallel lines will be exactly the same. So the slope of a line parallel, that's the notation for parallel, is equal to 1/3 as well. They will never intersect. They will have the same exact movement. All right? What will be different is they'll have different y-intercepts. Okay, let's find a line perpendicular. Now what we know about perpendicular is that they cross at a 90-degree angle, and the slope becomes the opposite reciprocal. Okay, so that's kind of weird, right? Okay, but it works every time. So slope of a perpendicular, that's the notation for perpendicular. It's that right there. And I know that the slope is going to be the opposite, so this is a positive number. So right away I'm going to say negative. And then you flip it, and you can make it 3/1 or just 3, whatever you want to do. I'm going to make it 3/1 because that looks like a negative, and it's not. I'm going to make it a 3/1 because I want you to see the fraction. That's a -3 over +1. All right? Okay, let's identify the y-coordinate if x equals 12. Okay, so I'm going to go to my equation, and I'm just going to substitute that x-coordinate of 12 in. When you have an ordered pair, this is called the x-coordinate, and this is called the y-coordinate. Together, they're the ordered pair. I'm going to put 12 in. Now, when I multiply 1/3 times 12, I multiply by the top and divide by the bottom. So 12 times 1 is 12. Divided by 3 is 4, plus 3. And that gives me y equals 7. Now you can write this as an ordered pair. We're good with that. Or you can write it as the y-coordinate, right? I just asked for the y-coordinate. So it's y equals 7. All right, good job. Let's do it again, because practice is really where you get proficient. So let's do it again. All right, here's number 2. So again, we're going to identify that x and the y. Right here are my x values, right here and right here. And here are my y values, here and here. I'm also going to identify, because again, I know the formula. It's in your notes. It should be. Or if you memorize it, that's great too. But it's really just the change in y over the change in x. So how is y changing? So I'm going to do, this time I'm going to start, well, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is -1, boom, minus, that comes from here, and then that's a +9. So I'm subtracting a +9. Oof. Now I'm going to start with my x2, that's 14, minus, now this is where it gets tricky, because you're subtracting a negative, like so. Simplify the top, it's called the numerator. Simplify the bottom, that's called the denominator. Remember, when you have this negative, it makes a positive, that's right. So that's 20. Please reduce your fraction and leave it in fraction form. Do not give me a decimal point. As a slope, we like that rise over run. There's that. Okay, now I'm going to find the y-intercept. I do it, this really happens the same every time. How I find the y-intercept is really basically the same every time. Okay, so I'm going to use my m of -1/2. I'm going to use my x of, it doesn't pick either that ordered pair or that one. So I'm going to do 14, and then my y is -1. Substitute in, so y becomes -1 equals m. Now I'm multiplying by x, so I use parentheses, and what I'm looking for is that b. Now negative times a positive is a negative, and half of 14 is 7. Okay, now I'm done simplifying, so I'm going to do inverse operations. Opposite of a minus is a plus. Rewrite it. -1 plus 7 is 6. This goes to 0. B. I think it's a good idea to write this as an ordered pair, because that's what it is. The y-intercept is an ordered pair. It's not just a single number, it's an ordered pair. All right, now let's go ahead and write the equation. We're going to use the information we found. I mean, we're done, right? Y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to put in the parameter for the slope. That's m, and I'm going to put in the parameter for the b. That's the y-intercept. Those numbers are what make the equation have direction and steepness, right? Okay, so y equals negative 1/2. Because my slope is negative, I know it goes down from left to right. X plus 6. All right, that's not bad. Okay, let's do the parallel again. Well, what do we know about parallel lines? So the slope of a parallel is exactly the same as the slope of the line we're referring to. So that's easy. Perpendicular, slope of a perpendicular is opposite. So opposite of a negative is a positive. And then flip the fraction. Boom, done. Okay, now we're going to identify the x-coordinate when y is negative 8. So I go to my equation, and I'm going to substitute 8 in, negative 8 in for y. Now I have to solve this equation for x. So I'm going to do inverse operations. That's my variable term, constant, constant. So I'm going to move my constant over. I have negative 14 is equal to 1/2 x, negative 1/2 x. Now I'm going to divide by that fraction in front of x. And remember, when you divide by a fraction, you must put it in parentheses. Otherwise, you'll get the wrong answer. Negative 1/2 divided by negative 1/2 is 1, right? So that's 1x. I can flip the sides. That's okay. And then negative 14 divided by negative 1/2 in your calculator, it's going to look like this. Negative 14 divided by negative 1/2. Make sure you put that in parentheses. That's 28. So x equals 28. And because we're just talking about the x-coordinate, I can just write x equals 28. If you wrote the ordered pair like this, I'd be okay with that as well. So I'll write or. You don't have to write them both, just one or the other. All right, that's it. Well done, kiddos. Well done. Stay strong. Make sure you're focused, not getting distracted by yourself. All right? Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to download and perform some of these problems. Enjoy it.